Hey y'all, this is Brandy, YouTube channel Bless Her Health and Instagram Pre-Med Mom Gets Fit. So today we're going to discuss content review, and then I'm going to film a second video that'll be much shorter that kind of goes over the practice books out there, what I use, what I recommend, pros and cons of those. That is not going to be as detailed as the content review because the content review is going to be the bulk of your studying. But I do think practice is extremely important. So we're going to discuss that in the next video. So I chose the books that I'm using, and some I'm using, some I'm not, and I can give a review on those. And I did a little bit of research for y'all that are interested in the books that I'm not using. The main one is the Berkeley review. I have never used the Berkeley review. Pros of the Berkeley review is it's gotten great reviews. People love it. People rave about it. They say it's very thorough. It's very detailed. The biggest pro for the Berkeley review is it has a ton of practice. People say that each chapter has 70 to 100 questions. It is the most practice-filled books of any out there. Cons of the Berkeley review. According to the website, it is $394 for the set. That's not including the full lengths. I know they have a set of 3 full lengths for $110, and then they have, I think, 2 more as another set. I didn't see the price on that. So they are the most expensive books on the market. You also have to order through the website, so it takes a couple weeks to arrive. Their quantities are limited. The other thing is they can be a little too detailed, and as one reviewer on Student Doctor Network said, they're not as fun as the other books. So they kind of have a drier textbook feel to them. Longer test schedule study time, if you have more funds that you can use, and if you like the dry textbook style, then go for it. Berkeley review might be the book for you. I cannot show you the Berkeley review or give a full review on it. I can only tell you what I've researched. The other book that I can't give a full review on, I can give a half review, is the Princeton review. A lot of people love the Princeton review. And I've had a lot of friends rave about it. I bought this book when I was studying for the old exam. I did not buy the new edition for the 2015. I knew ahead of time that I wasn't going to be using it. So I did not purchase it. So I can compare the old Princeton to the new books of the other companies, but I do not have the new one in hand to compare. I'll tell you how detailed they cover action potential, because that's not a huge topic on the MCAT. So some books barely touch it, some books cover it in extent. The books are $122. For this, that's for the new set. It's $122. It does come with 4 full lengths, and for action potential, now again, this is the old book. There were 7 pages front and back on action potential. Initiating it, resting potential, how it occurs, quite a bit. So from here to here on action potential. In this old version, there are multiple choice questions throughout. Like right after you read a paragraph, there's a multiple choice question. Read a paragraph, multiple choice question. Another multiple choice question. And then they do not have summaries at the end of the chapter. However, they do have, hold on. They do have a passage with questions at the end of the chapter. Again, this is the old book, so I don't know if it's the same in the new book. But the MCAT format practice is really good. I highly recommend practicing in the MCAT format. The old book at least came with these sheets, these study sheets, which Kaplan has the same thing called quick sheets. So if you have a Kaplan, then you know what I'm talking about. Again, not sure if it's the new book, but this is the old book. I would assume that they're keeping the same format, just changing the information in it. So 7 full pages on just action potential, passage-based questions at the end, no chapter summary. So for pros of this book, I like the passage-based practicing. I think if you're practicing for an exam that's passage-based, you need to practice it in a passage-based format. Cons, is how detailed these books go. If you want detail, if you feel like your content's really weak and you want the explanations and you want to be walked through step by step the material, then this might be the book for you. Is McGraw-Hill. A lot of people don't actually talk about this book, which kind of surprised me. So this is the new one. It comes in a set of 4 books. There's the picture. Aren't they pretty? They are extremely thin. This is the thinnest of all the study books out there. I liked how they were broken into the sections of the MCAT. So instead of being biology, chemistry, physics, organic, this covers everything that you could run into in the biology section, which, if you know the breakdown of the MCAT, there's some chemistry in this section, and there's some organic, and there's some biology, and there's some biochemistry, and there's all the different subjects are in each section. So I really liked how this book was broken down by the MCAT section. Here's your action potential coverage. You have resting potential, action potential. The back side, pretty pictures. That's it. So about 1 page front and back is your action potential. So it's a lot less coverage. At the end, are broken down into units. So this book has 3 units. There's the biomolecules unit, then there's the molecules, cells, and organs, and then systems of tissues and organs. And if you recognize that, it is based on how the AMC has it broken down. So when you get to the end of a chapter, there's no summary, there's no questions. However, there's a mini test after each unit. So there are 3 mini tests, and these are passage-based. And these are set up just like the MCAT is. You can see it's a couple pages. So you have one of these at the end of each unit. So there's 3 in this book. Pros, price, broken down into sections, cons, very concise, not a ton of practice. Although you do get 2 full lengths. Action potential. As you can see, this book is very colorful. There's your resting potential that we saw in the other books. Content. There's specifically action potential, more content, and there it's over. So if you include resting potential, you have 3 pages front and back. So it is a concise book. That's what a lot of people like about it, is it's more concise than the Kaplan and the Princetons. But it still covers the material. Like you just saw, it was quite a little bit. And if you saw, there are questions. So these are questions that are throughout the chapter. They are not passage-based. They are just multiple choice questions. And you'll have them every couple pages. There's another set for the same chapter. The questions in the chapter are not passage-based. And at the end of the chapter, there is not a summary. However, there is a list of terms to know. Which, honestly, I do not use this because that is how many terms they listed for this one chapter. I am not making flashcards for 5 bajillion terms. It's not happening. So, they do include a list of terms to know. I do not personally use it because it is way too many terms. I mean, this is one chapter. Look how many terms there are for one chapter. That's insane. But it could be useful for someone if you're really into definitions and flashcards. And while the questions in the chapter are not passage-based, each book comes with 3 mini tests that are 30 minutes long. 30 minutes long. That are at the end of the book, and they are MCAT format. So, exam crackers. Pro. Not too expensive if you get the older edition. Very concise. They are short, to the point. They're also more fun. We were talking about Berkeley review not being very fun. These are fun. They have jokes. They have the little salty dude who makes little remarks and comments and acronyms. And they really do a great job of trying to get you to understand the material and remember it in a fun way. And they have little notes throughout of like how it's used on the MCAT and how you need to know it. It's very colorful. It's just a fun book. It's a book that I don't mind sitting down and reading for 2 hours. I could not sit down and read Princeton for 2 hours. I just couldn't. However, I could read Exam Crackers for 2 hours. However, Exam Cracker full lengths, which you can buy on their website, have gotten great reviews as being harder than the real exam, but a great representation of the real exam. So, these are great books, very popular for a lot of reasons. Next up, Kaplan. These are extremely popular. Everybody knows about Kaplan. Everybody studies Kaplan. If you look up MCAT on the Instagram, hashtag MCAT, search it, which I do all the time to get motivation to study. So if you want to help me study, tag your pictures, hashtag MCAT, so I can get some motivation from y'all. You will see Kaplan everywhere. This is like the main, most popular book. This is the homecoming queen, the prom queen, the cheerleader, the football player of the MCAT books. Kaplan books for a full set is $150 on Amazon. Let's talk about if they're good or not. They come with 3 full lengths. They are online. They are talk action potential. You have 1 page, 2 page. As you can see, very colorful, broken down. 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. So basically 4 pages front to back. Not too shabby actually on this. As you can see throughout the chapter, there are these little checkpoints where it's open-ended questions to see how you understand the material. They are not multiple choice. They are not MCAT format. They are strictly to test how you understand what you just read and if you can regurgitate it, basically. And then at the end of the chapter, you have content summary, which is a bullet point of what all you just read, with definitions. Basically, if I was taking notes on the chapter, this is what my notes would look like. And practice questions. These are multiple choice. They do not include passages. They are not MCAT format. Maybe discrete format, but not regular. Although I don't think they're as difficult as the MCAT discrete, to be honest. They're basically testing if you understand your content. So, MCAT, pros and cons. Cons is actually one of the pricier books out there. They do a great job of explaining the material. I do like it for that. I think they are a little, I don't want to say too detailed. I think Princeton uses a lot of detail to explain something that is simpler than they cover. I think Kaplan uses a lot of examples. So they like to use analogies, and if your car, and this is gas, and that's how it makes it run, and this is how your body works, things like that. They like to use real life examples to help you understand the material. They do a good job of explaining the material, but in a way that's a lot longer than you actually need. This book is pretty thick. If you want to compare thickness, of course McGraw-Hill is the skinniest. Kaplan and the Exam Cracker is actually almost the same on this one, but Kaplan's usually bigger than the Exam Crackers. I just feel like they went, if they were driving somewhere, they took the scenic route. Let's just put it that way. I've used Kaplan for years, and I am a fan of Kaplan. I love their flashcards because they are strictly definitions and formulas, which is great. If you get flashcards, go for Kaplan. But there are no passage-based questions. This drives me bonkers because the MCAT is a passage-based exam. If you are going to do well on a passage-based exam, you need passage-based practice. Kaplan does not have that at all. Not a one, not a single one in this entire book. There is not a single passage in this entire book. That drives me bonkers. Pros of this book, it does do a good job of explaining the material. It's great for if you need a lot of content review, if you need more help understand the material, if you understand it better from examples and comparisons to other things. They are great quality books. The cons, pricey a little bit. No passage-based questions at all. I mean, Exam Crackers has passage-based test at the end. McGraw-Hill has passage-based test at the end. Even Princeton Review had passage-based test at the end. So this is the only book that does not have that. So to summarize and compare these really quickly, you have McGraw-Hill, 4 books, 2 full lengths, $89, very, very concise, passage-based, practice, not a lot of it though, and organized by the sections of the test, not by the subject. You have Kaplan, 7 books, $150, no passage-based practice, but it has content review that's pretty good with real-life examples if that is the kind of way that you learn the best. If you learn best by real-life examples, this is the way to go. Does have content summaries at the end of the chapters, but again, no passage-based practice, but it comes with 3 full lengths. Exam Crackers, very concise. It has what's on the test and nothing else, although it is taught in a very fun way. It is taught in a funny, silly, here's how you should remember it way. It reads like a magazine versus a textbook. So it's the most enjoyable to read out of all of them. And it does have 3 mini tests at the end of each book that are passage-based. And those are $80 if you get the old set, $250 to get the new set, which is a little ridiculous. So you get the old set because it's the same thing. This is for the new exam. 9th edition is the new exam. It's just the old set of the new exam. Princeton, don't know a ton about the new books, but from what I can say from the old books is it has some passage review, some passage practice, very, 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 very detailed, very long. So if you've got a lot of time and you crave the details and you want all the details and you want to know everything, this is the book. And these are $122 for their set. Again, it's the longest and the most detailed of the bunch. And Berkeley Review, never used, but very expensive. However, ton of practice and can be a little dry, but very, very detailed like the Princeton. You need to decide what is best for you. Do you want something that is based off the sections of the test and very, very concise? Do you want something that is more relatable but not a lot of passage-based practice? Do you want something that's concise but more practice and very fun to read? Do you want something that's very detailed so you understand the material to the best of your ability? Figure out how you learn best and pick a book based on that, not what other people are using. Just because everybody and their mother's using Kaplan doesn't mean that's what you need to use. Now that I've covered the differences in the books, let me tell you how I'm using them just in case you want to do it my way, which you don't need to do it my way. This is my way. But if you want a way to get started, to find your own way, or heck, if you like my way, then use it. I'm sharing it for y'all to use. So here's what I am doing. I am using the Exam Crackers as my main book. They're concise, they're exactly what I need to know. They've got practice passages. I love them. They're fun. They're easy to read. If I'm going to sit down for 2 hours reading something, it's going to be this book. And that I do love, 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 love about Kaplan, and I take advantage of it, is their summaries at the end of the chapter. I learn by writing. If I write it down, I learn it. So I hand copy the summaries. That is a lot of work, and it might not be for you, but for me, this is all I need to know from Kaplan. I might read the topics just to kind of see what they have to say about it, but I'm not going to read it very detailed or study. I wouldn't say study it. I'd say like breeze through it. But their chapter summary, that's enough for me. I mean, this is a page, 2.5 pages for a 40-page chapter of just the definitions and the bullet points of what you need to know. That's good enough for me. I copy these in a notebook, and then I will read through the notebook to kind of brush up on those bullet points, because unfortunately, Exam Crackers does not have a summary. That makes me sad. I wish they did. Although, if you Google Charles Feng, F-E-N-G MCAT, he does have a breakdown and notes for Exam Crackers. That is how I am reading this and studying this. This is my reading, taking notes, studying, pouring myself over book. This, I'm doing the questions and I'm copying the summaries and I'm kind of flipping through the material if it's something I need to touch base on. I need this on top of Exam Crackers and Kaplan. However, like I said, I like how they integrated the subjects into the sections of the MCAT instead of having a biology, a chemistry, physics, whatever. So I like kind of reading these and seeing the topics blended together, because these books, like for this, it will talk about a biology subject, but the physics of it and the chemistry of it and the biology of it, and it really integrates it all together instead of me studying 3 different books to kind of get the idea. So I like how they cover the material that way, even though it's not detailed enough to put my hat on. So these I carry around with me. I switch them out every once in a while. I always have one of these in the car. If my husband's driving and we're going somewhere that's 30 minutes away, I break this book out. If I'm in a waiting room, I break this book out. If I'm anywhere and I just need something to kind of quickly glance at, this is what I'm reading. If I'm going to the library or I'm going somewhere to specifically study, then I'm taking Kaplan or Exam Crackers. But if I'm just find 5, 10, 15 minutes here and there, this is what I'm looking at. So that is how I am doing my content review. Do I recommend using 3 different sets for content review? No. However, I ended up with a whole bunch of books, so I'm trying to take the best of each book and piece them together by using the Exam Crackers content, using the Kaplan summaries, using the McGraw-Hill integration, and just kind of using the best of each of the books together. Since I already have them, that is how I am studying. Figure out what is best for you, and content-wise, this is your most fun, most concise, to the point, no filler. This is your real-life examples, explanations, trying to get you to understand it. This is your integrated. And you need to figure out what's best for you. What books work best for you, what kind of learner you are, how you learn best, how important it is to have your practice with your content book. If you can't afford a lot of practice books, you might veer towards a more practice-heavy content review. If you don't mind having a bunch of practice books, we'll talk about that in the next video, about what are the best practice books. Then maybe Kaplan's best for you because you're going to get practice books anyways. So figure out what works best for you, what's best for you price point wise, timing wise. The thicker the book, the longer it's going to take you to go through. And if you don't finish going through the book, it's not going to help you for MCAT because there's going to be topics you didn't cover. What's the best practice wise? What's the best all around? What is the best book for you? And I really hope that this review and talk of all the books helped y'all. Again, I'm so sorry for how long this video is. I'll try to edit it down as much as possible. And if you have any questions whatsoever, comment below. I would love to answer them as best as I can. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.